Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a closer look at something you shared with us, animal energy healing.
hmm
Our mission here is really to get under the skin of this topic, what it is, how it supposedly works, and, could it actually be a helpful, natural approach for our pets?
Right. And we know you appreciate getting a good, thorough understanding of things you're curious about. So, yeah, let's jump in. So, animal energy healing, based on the article we looked at, it's framed as this holistic, non invasive way to help pets.
Non-invasive, okay.
Yeah, helping them deal with various kinds of stress, whether that's emotional stuff or things showing up physically.
Okay, so when we say animal energy healing,
hmm
what are we actually talking about,
hmm
like in practice?
Well, at its core, it's about sending or maybe channeling subtle energy towards an animal's energy field.
Subtle energy.
Yeah, the whole idea is to restore balance, reduce stress, and kind of encourage the animal's own natural healing process. The basic thought is that animals, like people, have these energetic systems and that we can positively influence them.
So we're dealing with something that's not exactly tangible,
In
the
the
usual sense.
Precisely,
Right.
yeah. The source material talks about this concept of life force energy. You might have heard it called chi or prana.
Right. Right.
It's believed to flow through all living things. And the theory goes that things like emotional trauma, injuries, even stress from their environment
Mhm.
can cause blockages or imbalances in that energy flow.
And the healing is meant to fix those blockages.
That's the idea. The
Yeah.
different techniques are basically aimed at clearing those out, clearing the path, and restoring harmony in the animal system. Sort of
Yeah.
like untangling a knotted hers, maybe,
Yeah.
so water can flow freely again.
Okay, that analogy helps. So why would a pet need this? I mean, they can't just tell us, hey, my energy feels off.
Exactly, and that's a really key point the article makes. Animals obviously can't verbalize stress or pain like we do.
Right.
So instead, they show us through their behavior. You might notice them being, restless or maybe lethargic, not their usual self,
Mhm.
or maybe sudden aggression or being more fearful than usual, changes in appetite, sleep,
Hmm.
maybe licking or biting themselves a lot, or just hiding away.
Okay, yeah, those are definitely signals pet owners watch for. So is this energy healing presented as like the first thing to try, the go-to solution?
No, not really. Not as a replacement for seeing the vet. That's important.
Okay.
The material positions it more as a complementary thing, a support.
So it works alongside conventional treatment.
Exactly. The idea is if regular vet care isn't fully resolving something or you just want another layer of support, then animal energy healing could be something valuable to look into.
Got it. A both-hand approach.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now, the article mentioned different types of energy healing. What are the main ways people do this?
Yeah, there are a few key methods described. One is hands-on healing, pretty straightforward.
Okay.
The practitioner gently places their hands either directly on the animal or just near its body.
Right.
And the idea is to transmit that healing energy through touch or proximity. Then there's distant healing, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, that one. How does that work? No physical contact.
Well, the principle behind it is that energy isn't confined by physical space.
Mm.
So the practitioner's focused intention and awareness are seen as the key things directing the energy to the animal, even from afar. It's particularly useful, the article says, for animals that are maybe shy or traumatized or just don't like being handled much.
Interesting. Okay. What else?
Chakra balancing was mentioned too. Similar to the concept in human energy work, the idea is that animals also have these energy centers, or chakras,
Yeah.
and balancing those is thought to help their emotional and physical well-being. And finally, it mentions that some practitioners develop their own kind of unique methods, often based on intuition and their specific connection with animals.
So quite a range of approaches there. What about the results? What benefits might someone actually see in their pet?
The article lists several potential upsides. A big one is reducing anxiety and fear.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
So common.
Totally. Things like separation anxiety, fear of fireworks or thunderstorms, or maybe lingering trauma from past experiences. Energy healing aims to sort of soothe the nervous system,
Okay.
calm things down. Pain relief and supporting recovery are also mentioned.
How so?
It's seen as complementary to vet care, potentially helping to lessen pain and maybe speed up healing after an injury or surgery.
Oh,
Working together.
that could be a huge comfort, especially post-surgery. Anything else?
Yeah, improved behavior is another potential benefit. The thinking is that if there's an energetic imbalance, it might show up as a behavioral issue. Well, maybe aggression or reactivity or compulsive behaviors. So by rebalancing the energy,
You might see the behavior change.
exactly. The article suggests you might notice shifts, sometimes even after just a few sessions. And lastly, it talks about strengthening the human-animal bond.
How does that work?
Just the act of focusing your intention, your loving energy on your pet is thought to deepen that connection, build trust, build affection.
Those all sound like really positive outcomes. The article had some specific stories too, didn't it? Let's touch on those. Bella, the anxious rescue dog.
Yes, Bella, a Labrador mix, I think. She had severe anxiety, especially terrified of loud noises, classic rescue situation sometimes.
Poor thing.
Yeah. But the article says after just 3 distant healing sessions, her owners saw a real difference. She started to relax more.
Just 3. Wow.
And within about a month, apparently she was much calmer, even able to play outside without getting totally freaked out.
That's a fantastic turnaround.
Yeah.
And Milo, the cat with arthritis.
Right, Milo. An older cat, 12 years old, getting stiff joints. His owner started doing weekly hands-on sessions with him.
Okay.
And the claim is that within 30 days, his movement improved quite a bit. He was even jumping up on furniture again, which he hadn't been doing.
That's encouraging for older pets.
Yeah.
And the parrot, Coco.
The feather plucker.
Yes, Coco had this compulsive feather plucking habit, which can be really hard to stop in birds.
In Coco's case, the practitioner used a mix of chakra balancing and other energy work. And according to the story, the plucking reduced significantly, and her feathers actually started growing back.
These examples really help illustrate the potential, don't they? So, okay, someone's listening, they're intrigued. What could they try at home? Are there simple steps?
The article does give some actionable steps, yeah. First, it says, set a clear intention.
Intention.
Yeah, approach it with love and a clear focus on wanting to help your pet feel better. Apparently, animals are really sensitive to our intentions.
Makes sense. Step 2.
Find a calm space. Quiet. No distractions. Get comfortable near your pet. Maybe take a few deep breaths yourself first, kind of ground yourself.
Okay, calm space, clear intention. Then what?
Step 3 is about placing your hands gently on your pet, if they're okay with that, or just hovering your hands a few inches above them wherever they seem comfortable.
Right.
And then you can sort of visualize a gentle healing light or energy flowing from your hands to your pet. And the last step is just observe and trust. Watch your pet. They might show signs of relaxing, yawning, stretching, sighing, maybe drifting off to sleep. The article says these can be signs they're responding positively.
That sounds pretty accessible, actually. Something most people could try.
Mm-hmm.
But when should you maybe look for a professional?
Well, if you're new to it and feeling a bit unsure, or you just feel like you'd rather have someone with more experience handle it, then yeah, finding a professional animal energy healer is a good idea.
Right.
They can offer guidance, maybe give you more confidence. The article suggests looking for someone who, respects both the sciencey side and the energetic side, has good testimonials or reviews, and whose style feels like a good fit for you and your pet, whether that's Reiki or intuitive work or chakra balancing, whatever it might be.
Good pointers. Now, the big question.
Yeah.
How fast does this stuff work? Are we talking instant results or...
The article is careful to say it varies. Every animal is different, right?
Yeah.
But it suggests many owners start noticing some positive shifts, maybe subtle ones, within the first week or 2 of doing it consistently.
Okay, a week or 2.
And then more significant changes often become apparent within about 30 days. So consistency seems key.
Right, not necessarily overnight, but potentially noticeable changes within a month with regular effort. What about the science? Is there actual research backing this up for animals?
That's definitely an area where the science is still evolving, particularly for animals. It's not like there are tons of large-scale studies yet.
Right.
However, the article does point out that the underlying ideas align with research on energy medicine in humans. There's more work done there.
Okay, so parallels with human research.
Yeah. And it also mentions this growing trend in veterinary medicine towards integrative care.
Meaning
Vets are increasingly open to combining standard medical treatments with holistic approaches like acupuncture or, yes, even energy healing in some cases. So there's a growing acceptance, it seems.
Interesting. So the scientific picture is developing, but there's some adjacent research and growing openness. Okay, what about common questions? Is it safe for all pets, like hamsters, lizards?
According to the source, yes. Because it's non-invasive and gentle, it's considered safe for pretty much any animal, even the small or exotic ones.
Good to know. And just to reiterate, it doesn't replace the vet, right?
Absolutely not. The article stresses that point. It's a complement, an addition to veterinary care, not a substitute for it. Always get conventional diagnosis and treatment first.
Crucial distinction. And how often should people do these sessions?
The suggestion is maybe start with 2 or 3 times a week. For ongoing wellness, even once a week or once a month could be beneficial long term.
Okay, that gives a good sense of frequency.
Yeah.
This has been really, really interesting. It definitely paints animal energy healing as this gentle, natural way to potentially support our pets by focusing on their energy balance.
Mm.
We've covered what it is, why pets might benefit, the different techniques, those success stories.
Yeah.
It certainly seems like an avenue worth exploring for people seeking extra support for their animals.
And what's quite compelling, I think, is how it encourages us to view our pets more holistically. Seeing the connection between their physical state, their emotions, and this energetic dimension. The article really suggests that by addressing things on that energetic level, you might unlock positive changes elsewhere.
Absolutely. And for you listening, if this deep dive has piqued your interest and you want to dig deeper, the article we've been referencing draws from the book, Practical Animal Energy Healing.
Ah, right.
You can find it at www.aznewtech.com. That's AZNEWTEC.com. We'll also pop a link in the show notes to make it easy.
Thinking about this whole approach, it does make you consider how we usually care for our pets. We focus a lot on food, walks, vet visits,
Right.
the physical stuff.
Right, essentials.
But this brings up the question of their inner world, their energetic state. How much attention do we really pay to that?
That is a really fascinating point to leave things on. So as we wrap up this deep dive on animal energy healing, maybe ask yourself, could tuning into your pet's energy in whatever way feels right to you be a missing piece in their overall care and maybe even deepen that amazing bond you share? Definitely food for thought. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.